Okay, dear friends, I'll be talking on research evidence of paleo diet. Yeah. So these are my disclosures I am going to disclose. And dear friends, we are living in an unhealthy nation. Diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular diseases are common, but they weren't so common early in human history. These diseases can be avoided or even delayed to a very, very late age. The present nutritional policy and recommendations have been derailed over the past half century by a mixture of personal ambition, bad science, politics, and bias. So in the next 20 minutes, what I will do is I'll focus you on to research articles which comes under the category of level 1 evidence. Level 1 evidence means they are based on meta-analysis, systematic review of well-controlled randomized trial, and level 2A evidence, which means a well-planned single-center randomized controlled trial. So my further talk will be based on only level 1 and level 2A evidence. However, one must not forget, evidence-based practice is not only research evidence, it also should take into consideration the patient preference, the available resources, and also treating physicians' exposure and also his expertise. When all three things are put together, then we can say it has an evidence-based medicine. One should not blindly say there is no any published research, so I won't accept. So when somebody comes with a huge failure report and says that he is following LCHF diet to a physician who is not well aware of the scientific basis, there are so many questions that comes to him. And many times we hear a history like doctor used to shout at them, throw the report out, and a lot of things happens. We should in fact pity for not being exposed to many of the research evidence which is already there, and these are the things which they say. Paleo diet is not evidence-based. All the diets have got same efficacy at the end of 2 years. Saturated fats are bad for heart. Carbohydrates are essential nutrients for your brain, your normal functioning, and if you reduce it, you will have a lot of issues. The LCHF diet is a nutrient deficient diet. Long term, you might have some malabsorption and other things. It's a fat diet, it's the worst rated diet, it's the last diet in of the most followed diets in the world. And also, the long-term safety of LCHF diet is poor. These are the usual things which is said by most of the practitioners who are not aware of the scientific basis. So I will focus on each and every with an evidence. So is it evidence-based? Yes, it is evidence-based. But what actually commonly the mistake is done is, whenever somebody becomes enthusiastic and goes to the PubMed and searches for a paleo diet, they put a search as paleo diet and they end up getting only 17 references. Then they come to a conclusion there is no any research evidence on it. But what I would advise is, you go to the same PubMed, you put on the advanced search there, then you put two search terms, low carbohydrate and high fat diet. Then click on the clinical trials there. You will get more than 1,000 publications. Research articles on low carb high fat diet, and all of them are published in a peer-reviewed index journal. And there are more than, I can say, more than 200 RCTs are available on this particular diet, and more than 50 systematic reviews or meta-analysis are available. So one should be patient enough to go through that and say, look at the evidence on it. So there are many evidences which are hidden. I would like to share with you. So one should remember, when we say LCHF diet, it doesn't have a single definition. There are three various definitions which are found in the published articles. One is a moderate carbohydrate diet, where the contribution of carbohydrate is between 26 to 45% of the total calories. The second one, what the publication commonly uses, LCHF diet, where less than 26% of the total calories are contributed by carbohydrate, or in a rough manner, less than 180 gram carbohydrate per day. And they call very low carbohydrate diet or ketogenic diet, what we are talking about, wherein the contribution of carbohydrate is less than 10%. So let's look at the efficacy of various diets which is available, and let us compare with that of the low carb high fat diet. So this is a well conducted study which was published in Annals of Internal Medicine, level 2A evidence, where they compared two types of diet. One is a low carb high fat diet, and they compared with the low fat diet. Broken lines are LCHF and straight line is low fat diet. As you can clearly see, the change in body weight was much superior to the low fat diet at the end of 1 year, And also the fat mass was preferential loss, not the lean muscle mass. And it's statistically significant. And they also looked at the CV profile and the CV markers. There was a significant reduction in the triglycerides in those who were following LCHF diet. And they went on to conclude low carbohydrate diet was more effective for weight loss and cardiovascular risk factor reduction than the low fat diet. Restricting carbohydrates may be an option for persons seeking to lose weight and reduce cardiovascular risk factors. Level 2 evidence. And this is a real world study. So we have enormous data from this particular study. What they found is when somebody was following LCHF diet, how much weight will be lost by how many percentage of patients. And this particular study tells that. It says 40% of the people following an LCHF diet will have around 15 to 16% of their total body weight loss, initial body weight loss. And another 16% will lose around 22 to 24% of their initial body weight. Around 4% will have a weight loss which equals to that of a bariatric surgery. We know that bariatric surgery weight loss is superior, and this is the real world evidence which has been shown. And this is the level A evidence for it. This is a meta-analysis of all RCTs, various RCTs, and how to interpret is odds ratio. And what you see here is, this side you have got the LCHF diet, that side you have the low fat diet. And what you see is the dots here, all are in favor of a LCHF diet. So meaning to say that in this particular meta-analysis, LCHF diet was superior to a low fat diet with respect to weight reduction. However, there are other meta-analysis which says that it may not be so. And it might say that LCHF diet and low fat diet are same with respect to weight loss. However, one should look at the thing isocaloric diet, right? So sorry. Isocaloric, because many of the studies have included only isocaloric, calorie to calorie comparison. However, one should remember this factor, ad libitum. Ad libitum means if you are allowed to eat how much ever you can, how much will you eat? Because the satiety factor comes into picture here, how you end up eating when the satiety comes. When this factor is brought into picture, and the picture changes. So this is one well-conducted study published in M.B.B.S, where they compared 3 studies. One is LCHF diet, the second one is Mediterranean diet, the third is a low-fat diet, and it was an ad libitum study. When ad libitum was allowed, then what you see is at the end of 2 years, you have got a significant weight loss with the LCHF diet compared to the well-studied Mediterranean diet. And the least performer was the low-fat diet. This is the data for 2 years. So sustained weight reduction was seen in this study. And you know about NEJ, the validity, and what type of studies gets published there. And these are the various studies where again this factor of ad libitum was used for people who are on LCHF diet, and people were told to reduce their calories with low-fat diet. When ad libitum was there, people who are on LCHF diet consume 200 to 300 kilograms lesser than people who are taking low-fat diet. As a result of that, what you have is a significant reduction in the weight at the end of the study period. So when ad libitum comes, LCHF performs better compared to the low-fat diet. So how does it work? Lot of things have been said. I'd just like to highlight on increased satiety. We have got a lot of publications on it, and I think Dr. Arun would have talked about the metabolic advantage. These are the 2 various well-accepted hypotheses for the weight loss with LCHF diet. So increased satiety is a game changer for LCHF diet. So let's compare the satiety factor between paleo diet and an ADA diet. In this small RCT but well-conducted RCT, when they compared paleo diet with an ADA diet, what happened in patients with type 2 diabetes, the satiety factor was more with respect to the questionnaire which was given to them, and people ended up eating less. So in patients with diabetes put on paleo diet, satiety comes early, they end up taking less calories. What about Mediterranean diet with respect to satiety? Again, in this smaller study but well-conducted study, satiety was achieved yearly with a paleo diet compared to a Mediterranean diet in people with ischemic heart disease. And not only that, there was a better glucose control compared to Mediterranean diet, which is looked at as the best diet in the world. So glucose control was better with a LCHF diet compared to a Mediterranean diet. And there was a 26% reduction in the area under curve for glucose, and glycemic improvement was better compared to the Mediterranean diet. And this is another comparison of another RCT on the satiety factor. So what happens? There are 2 types of peptides which determines how much you should eat, when to stop. The R-oxygenic peptides Basically, they make you feel satiety before. They are increasing patients with LCHF diet, and the way of doing it is mediated by long-chain fatty acid CoA in the arcuate nucleus of the hypothalamus. When you are on a ketogenic diet, this mechanism comes into play. You stop eating much before than what you used to do before. The second thing is there is a definite metabolic advantage with the LCHF diet. The moderate protein intake, what you do, will lead to some more satiety. Rebound hypoglycemia is not seen in LCHF diet. What happens whenever you take idli or dosa in the morning or a pongal, within 2 hours you feel hungry because after taking a carbohydrate diet, there is a hyperinsulinemia. After 2 hours, there will be relative hypoglycemia where you feel an urge to take a snack, interparietal snacking. This is not seen, so you end up eating less. And this phenomenon of rebound hypoglycemia is lesser with this diet, and this is another reason why there is less calorie intake and better weight loss with diet. And you take fat to burn fat, which is what we call as a metabolic advantage. So there is increased thermogenic effect of food, there is greater protein turnover, gluconeogenesis happens from the proteins, thereby there is no need to worry about glucose where it will come from, and there is an increased lipolysis with reduced lipogenesis. This is what we call as a metabolic advantage. I think this I won't cover. And let's look into diabetes. Dr. Parmeshwar has already given a very good exposure on what happens in diabetes and how it can be managed. I will concentrate a few of the studies which he has not covered. So this is a well-conducted RCT, I think published recently, in patients with type 2 diabetes. They looked at LCHF versus low-fat diet. And what you see, the block, dots and the triangle. So these are the people who are on LCHF diet. What you can see is the weight loss is better between people who are on LCHF diet. HbA1c reduction this is the glucose. There won't be any ups and downs in LCHF diet. It will be a flat curve in LCHF diet, whereas it will be ups and downs. HbA1c reduction is better with the LCHF diet. And we also talk about glycemic variability in diabetes nowadays, because we found that even after reducing the A1C, the macrovascular complications, the heart disease, the stroke are not coming down. So people now talk about ups and downs. They are not good for your blood vessels. And this is called as glycemic variability. And this particular glycemic variability is lesser to LCHF diet. In this particular RCT, what they found was they looked at 3 markers for glycemic variability. One is the standard deviation, another is the mean amplitude of glucose excretion, the third one is Konga. So these 3 parameters were indicative of glycemic variability, and they were minimal with the LCHF diet compared to a usual diet, low fat diet. So glycemic variability also is lesser. So you can expect long-term basis the complications will be lesser. So other precision concerns is will it increase to predispose to increases for CVD. So safety always should come first. I do accept you should not stop statin. The common mistake which is done is people stop statin. That should not be done, because statin not only acts by reducing the LDL, it is an anti-inflammatory as likely said, and it stabilizes the plaque. It prevents plaque rupture. That is the predominant method of action. And so statin should always be given in the appropriate dose, and you should follow the recommendation. Please do not deviate from what the recommendation says. So you know about what the LCHF diet causes. With respect to lipid profile compared to low fat diet, the reduction in the triglyceride is more, the reduction in the other HDL triglyceride ratio is more, HDL elevation is more, everybody knows about it. And I'll finish before that. ApoB ratio is increased, lesser with the LCHF diet. And these are the various explanations for it. There are a lot of enzymatic changes that happens, which has already mentioned: increased fat oxidation, decreased carbohydrate oxidation, gluconeogenic enzymes increases. So there are various ways by which the lipid profile gets modified. This is a good data. As people might say, as you increase the saturated fat, the total cholesterol will increase. And this is data to show that it doesn't happen. What you say is the contribution of the saturated fat in the x-axis, and y-axis is the serum total cholesterol. As you keep on increasing your total saturated fat in your food, you see the scattered plot, the dots are very less. It doesn't get translated into elevated total cholesterol. However, there is one thing you should remember: nutrigenomics. Not all people will respond with the same lipid profile picture to you with the same diet. So you should also understand that whatever you say is not 100% true. People will respond differently. LDL secretion depends upon what genes you have, what your genes directs your liver to secrete. So you cannot change that. So you should be cautious in people who have got a LDL before starting above 180. Please do not stop statin or anything. So it is seen that around 60% will have a 50% will have a LDL increase. Other 50% may not. That is because of the nutrigenomics. However, one should remember there is a LDL elevation with the LCH of diet, but what LDL is increased? Science says there are two types of LDL. One is a small dense LDL and another is a large buoyant LDL. The culprit is the small dense LDL, which is more atherogenic. And this particular study shows as you take a LCH of diet, the triglyceride concentration comes down, so also small dense LDL concentration. So, in this particular thing, well conducted study, what they found was the small dense LDL level comes down, large buoyant LDL level increases. So, even if you have a LDL elevation more, you need not be worried. However, having said that, please follow statin recommendation for LDL. And use, consider all the genetic factors, smoking and other things, age factor into picture and apply it. Do not look at only the level of LDL for starting statins. Follow the guidelines. And this you are well aware of. And there is also reduced ApoB concentration. Some studies shows the flow-mediated arterial dilatation is improved, by inflammatory biomarkers are improved, and preferentially visceral fat are lost compared to the subcutaneous fat. So the scenario is changing. Now initially we said increased weight loss leads to insulin resistance. Now our understanding is increased carbohydrate intake leads to hyperinsulinemia, that increases insulin resistance, that increases obesity. So the scenario and the concepts are changing now. Again, NFLD, even if you go to the website of the American Society of Liver Disease, ASLD, they say LCH of diet is one of the modalities for treating NASH and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This is a meta-analysis saying the clear benefit of LCH of diet compared to low fat diet in treating NASH patients and also NFLD patients. So what happens to volunteers? Can they take LCH of diet? It's their decision. Yes, it should be taken. What happens with them? They end up eating 36% less calories and they lose around 2.5 kgs if you take it in a volunteer, a normal BMI person. It still works in them. And as rightly said, SGLT2 inhibitors causes a aerobic ketosis wherein the beta hydroxybutyryl level increases to 0.4 to 0.6 millimole and the failing myocardium preferentially uses ketone bodies compared to free fatty acids. This got translated into an infrared trial where they found that all-cause mortality is reduced by 45% and the cardiovascular death is reduced by 80%, and they also had a renal trial where they found there is reversal of microalbuminuria to normoalbuminuria. All things can be associated with increase in ketones. So there is a beneficial effect of ketones in patients with diabetes. And other misconceptions, you know, so dietary fat doesn't translate into a lipid profile. There are two meta-analyses available. This one was published in the BMJ, where they found that saturated fat, PUFA is not associated with increased all-cause mortality and also CHD mortality and CVD mortality. It's only the trans fat which is thing. There's another thing which was published in the Annals of Intermediates where they say if the culprit is the trans fat and not the saturated fat or the unsaturated fat. So now we have got a double evidence to say that it doesn't, saturated fat doesn't increase cardiovascular mortality and morbidity. So, and judgment day was there for this misconceptions in the form of this PURE study. It was a well conducted study, even India is a part, 18 countries are involved, lakhs of people were studied. And what final verdict it gave was increased carbohydrate is increased with increased all-cause mortality. Increased saturated fat intake is not associated with cardiovascular mortality. So now the fear is gone. Fat is good, fat is always good. Increased carbohydrate intake is not good. I don't think you need better evidence for this, than this. And this is what the PURE studies observed. When you take a high carb diet, of course your LDL comes down, HDL becomes low, and the triglyceride is high. When you take a high fat diet, there is an increase in LDL. I don't deny that, but ApoB ratio is low. It is an emerging cardiovascular risk marker for which we don't have any treatment. So renal safety is there, and so when you look at this 2 years trial where they found that increased protein intake will not lead to increased microalbuminuria. Of course, the GFR increases, there's a slight increase in the kidney size. However, it is reversible. Once you stop the diet, the kidney goes back to a original state. So it is a temporary adjustment phenomena. It doesn't increase the serum creatinine or increase the GFR, worsens the GFR. And sustainability, somebody was asking, it's a wonderful study in the systematic review and in level evidence where they found that the attrition rate, the black one is the low fat diet, the white one is the LCHF diet. The attrition rate in many of the studies was more for low fat diet compared to the low carb high fat diet. So attrition rate is better, it's a lesser bit LCHF diet. My dear friends, diabetes is changing, ever changing, the understanding is changing. Now we know that it's not type 1 or type 2 diabetes. It's a cluster-based classification. In this recent publication, Lancet, how we classify diabetes now is severe autoimmune diabetes, severe insulin-deficient diabetes, severe insulin-resistant diabetes, moderate obesity-related diabetes, and moderate age-related diabetes. In this, if you see these two clusters, severe insulin-resistant diabetes and moderate obesity-related diabetes, they will be definitely getting better response to LCHF diet, or at least reduce the carbohydrate to 40%. They can be better managed compared to the other types of diabetes. In old age diabetes, if you reduce, you may not prevent complication or anything. They are at the high risk people for developing complication, they will definitely get benefited by reducing the carbohydrate. So, to conclude, present dietary recommendations are flawed, fat is good, the present carbohydrate intake is very high and is driving the diabetes pandemic. Our ancestors' diet and lifestyles hold the key for a better future. LCHF diet is evidence-based and safe. LCH diet is a viable option for insulin resistance driven disorders like obesity, PCOS and type 2 diabetes. Thank you.
Thank you, Prem, for the wonderful presentation. Here we have witnessed there is adequate evidences for the paleo diet from the multicentric meta-analysis, systematic reviews and multiple RCTs favoring the health benefits of paleo diet, especially against non-communicable diseases and metabolic syndrome. The epidemiological research clearly indicates a true causal relationship between paleo diet and a healthy living. Thank you. I invite the floor for questions.
It has both endocrine and exocrine function. We come across, as a surgeon, I come across lots and lots of chronic calcific pancreatitis, FCPD. In those cases, they progress to diabetes in some point of time. In that case, can you advise LCHF diet? Number one, if you develop diabetes, number one. But if not, if it is not progressing to diabetes, how can I advise LCHF? He has got already exocrine deficiency. He is putting out steatoria. Already we are advising, as per books, not to take a fat PB. We are supplementing with pancreatic enzymes. How to go?
So the understanding of FCPD has improved in the last few years, and we know there is a mutation called a SPINK gene mutation, which is responsible, and now the FCPD should be taken out. It should be called as a familial hereditary pancreatitis, chronic pancreatitis. So these people will have an exocrine mind. So if you give them fat, obviously it doesn't get absorbed. So these are the people who are the right candidates. Initially, they will respond to your secretagogues. So after some time, they may not. So these are right patients for insulin, and you should not try other dietary molecules. Simple thing, they don't have enzymes to digest the fat. So they will have more symptoms by steatoria. So always treat them with insulin. That's the right treatment for them.
So they will have carbs?
I told you that because that is true, but they have the other cause for diabetes. I told there are many different types of diabetes.
They are not diabetic. If they are not diabetic.
Pardon? If they are not diabetic. Actually, usually these people will already be lean because of the malabsorption. So I think dietary modification for what benefit we are doing, I don't understand. So they will be already having malabsorption. So we have to increase their nutrients.
This is beyond weight reduction. LCHF is beyond weight reduction.
That is true, but these people, they may not have a good tolerance for the LCHF diet.
So there are certain type of people.
Definitely. That is true.
That's what I want to.
That's what I want to say.
Sir, two queries. First one is patients after starting on paleo diet, starting on paleo diet, on follow-up they had elevated TSH levels to the range of around 10. So they need to be stopped from around 4 patients. Second one is how safe is to start a paleo diet in a proteinuria patient, for example IgA nephropathy, or even CKD early stages, how safe is that to start a proteinuria patient?
Okay.
It is coming in the next session.
Maybe I will answer only the thyroid part of it. See, thyroid is an autoimmune disorder, right? So there is in obese people, the common misconception is people have got a elevated TSH and we tend to treat them without any indication. There is a axis called as thyroid in the hypothalamus. All obese people will have a elevated TSH. Doesn't mean that they have hypothyroidism. So up to a TSH level of 7.5 to 8, they need not require treatment. And thyroid is an autoimmune disorder which is determined by your genes and the antibodies. So it will have a reduction in the dose when they reduce weight. And I don't think diet will lead to decrease in TSH. Maybe there is a continued autoimmune destruction of the thyroid gland as a result of the TSH increasing, and diet is not a reason for it.
Previously, they had normal TSH.
That is maybe that there is a continuous antibody damage to the thyroid gland, which happened when you contacted them. So on the serial estimation, it was increasing because of the autoimmune thyroiditis.
Thank you, sir.